Hi everybody, my name is Eng Tang from Tozi Capital. How many of you guys have had or ever owned Bitcoin? I see we have a lot of early adopters. And it's good because Bitcoin and real estate goes hand in hand. And Bitcoin is what, when we're talking about Bitcoin mining, we're talking about data centers and power and real estate. So I think there's a lot of similarities here. So just to introduce myself, this is my first time at the Best Ever Conference. I appreciate Ben for the invite, and I really appreciate there's a lot of investors here who have invested with us here. So thank you. A little bit about me. I went to and studied economics, and actually I was during my class, Ivanka was in my class. She was a senior when I was a freshman. Then I went to investment banking, where right after the financial crisis, I joined the Peace Corps. And I went to the Peace Corps in the Republic of Georgia a year after Russia invaded Georgia. It was a very interesting time, and it's a lot of parallels to today. I actually met my wife there. And since then, I've been working in lots of different companies, at Apple most recently, and now I founded Tozi Capital a few years ago. But through all that time, I've been an investor. And for the last 8 years, I've been investing in Bitcoin. But I come from humble beginnings. I am myself a refugee. My parents are refugees from Cambodia. I was born in a refugee camp in Thailand. So my heart goes out to the situation that's happening in Ukraine. I hope it doesn't devolve even further. But I want to highlight that this is my reason why. This is the reason why I invest in these long-term appreciating assets like real estate and Bitcoin. And I just really wanted to just show pictures of my kids. So today's presentation is not about cryptocurrencies. No matter how much I could probably go into it and geek out about it, and happy to do so in the Q&A session later. I love real estate. I'm sure a lot of you guys love real estate. And these are some of the properties that we own. We own multifamily, senior living, industrial, and mixed use. And why I love real estate, like many of you guys, is cash flow. Who doesn't love cash flow? Unless you're investing in California, you really love cash flow. As somebody who lives in California, I know. Well, we also really like really high NOI properties and increasing that value through forced appreciation, creating really great profit margins without cash flow. Also, oftentimes, especially in the last 10, 20 years, there has been a lot of appreciation in our real estate. That's why I love investing in real estate as well. I can create equity, borrow against it, and then keep buying more and more real estate. I've been doing that since 2009. Finally, who doesn't love depreciation? It goes hand in hand with being a real estate investor. Investing in real estate, a lot of it is about tax advantages and deferring those gains to the future. Depreciation really makes, especially with bonus depreciation, makes a deal really great. Well, what if I told you that Bitcoin mining has all of those characteristics and more? It has cash flow from mining. In our past historical performance, we've been making 5 to 10% a month. It has really strong profit margins. Right now, we're around 70% profit margins at today's price. Last year, we were around 85% profit margin. It has appreciation from mining Bitcoin. That Bitcoin hopefully appreciates, as has been for the last 10 years. And it has a tremendous amount of bonus depreciation. Because what you're buying or what you're investing in when you're investing in Bitcoin mining is computers that have a 5 or a year shelf life. And you can take a bonus depreciation to accelerate that to the first year, which allows you to take a significant outsize write-off in the first year. And it's only really 21 million Bitcoin that will ever be made, and that's guaranteed by the code, and that's what people love about Bitcoin, that it only serves one purpose, which is to create certainty in the code of Bitcoin. And 21 million Bitcoin, we have 19 million that have ever been mined. It will take another 120 years to mine the other 2 million Bitcoin. And I think in today's discussions, yesterday's discussions, we've been talking a lot about inflation. I do believe cryptocurrencies are a great hedge against the inflating or the deflating dollar. So what are miners? And I've had some investors ask me this question. Some of them ask me, so do these guys take a break? What if they go on a strike? Are they unionized? These aren't miners, but these miners are actually advanced computers. They're ASICs, for the most part, application-specific integrated circuits. What that means is that they're specially built for just one thing, mining Bitcoin. Oh, before I forget, I'm going to be doing a giveaway for this Bitcoin miner. If you want to meet me at the ballroom later, we'll have a Q&A. If you want to give me a business card, we'll do a raffle after that, at the end of the day. So Bitcoin miners are advanced computers. To me, they're money printing machines. They mine Bitcoin every day, and through that mining Bitcoin, you can sell it if you don't care about Bitcoin at all. They have a nominal value, and you create a lot of cash flow through these Bitcoin miners. This does not make that much. It makes only $1 of Bitcoin a day, and if you have free electricity somewhere, this could be really good. And speaking of electricity, what this needs is a lot of power. Bitcoin miners need a lot of power. And we've probably heard in some news stories that Bitcoin consumes a ton of power. It consumes more power than Argentina, Denmark, all these other countries, Washington State. Yes, these are all true. Bitcoin requires a lot of power through the proof of work that it requires to run this 24/7. But in the world, there's a lot of both power being generated, but power being lost through inefficiencies. And what Bitcoin does, or Bitcoin mining does, is it takes advantages of some of these inefficiencies. You probably heard of some of the stories of these 21-year-olds putting Bitcoin mining next to some natural gas and really just being at the source of production, or using flared gas and capturing that gas that is emitted already, that is wasted. These are all things that Bitcoin mining does, because it can be anywhere, and for the most part, where you get the most cheap power is being as close to the source as possible. One of our facilities is in Nebraska, next to a solar farm. We don't rely on just solar, but we get really cheap power because we're next to that solar farm. We're working on another facility in Ohio that's close to a nuclear power plant. And we're working with the nuclear power plant to really get one of the lowest costs of power in the nation. And for those who think that Bitcoin mining is not sustainable or doesn't use a lot of power, it does, but it uses a lot of green power. And for us, it has been important for us to do that as well, not only because I fundamentally believe in that, but also because it helps with future potential regulations or any other taxes that could happen in the future. So we try and get ahead of the game by just having our power majorly supplied by renewable energy. So let's talk about Bitcoin mining and its data centers and infrastructure. With data centers and infrastructure, when we're talking about Bitcoin mining, you could actually mine this at home. You could plug it in, and it will be very loud. Your spouse will hate you. It could be a great it could warm up your house. I have heard people put this in their house to warm up themselves and even use as a pool heater. These are all things that Bitcoin mining has been to do, but it will be very loud, very high decibels, and you need to run it 24/7, and your power bill will be very high. And so that's why most Bitcoin mining is done at scale nowadays. So Bitcoin mining at scale, what does that look like? It looks like this. It looks like industrial-sized data centers next to power, a lot of power, a lot of cheap power, and these Bitcoin miners are stacked in racks and plugged in, and they run with great airflow to take the hot air out and put the cold air in, because these will overheat if you don't maintain the temperatures. That's why being in some of the cooler, rare states is good. But Texas has a really great Bitcoin mining as well. But that's why immersion cooling is such a really great solution in Texas. So one of the things I really like about Bitcoin mining is that it's repurposing a lot of the old industrial Rust Belt. There's a lot of factories like this one, where it used to be an ex-GM plant, and we're not producing that many cars in America nowadays. But what characteristic it had was a lot of power generated, and a lot of, with that substation there, and a lot of power generated on-site for the production of cars. So we're repurposing this factory to, which is rather substantial, 1 million square foot. We probably need 80,000. So if anybody wants to sublease 1 million square foot, let them know. It's in Ohio, Sandusky, Ohio. This factory is going to be given new life. We're going to bring new jobs to a place where it's been desolated, and we're going to find really great tradespeople in this location as well. We've already been working on hiring as well. So the economics of Bitcoin mining is pretty simple. It's getting really energy efficient miners, which this isn't one of them. That's why I'm giving it away. So if you plug this in with your power, you make $1 of Bitcoin, but it'll take $1.50 to run a day. So, but if you have like a college dorm or somewhere you get free power, maybe do that. But what we as Bitcoin miners are always trying to find is energy efficient miners. So the latest generation of miners that gets released every year aren't trying to create much more productivity because the chipsets are constrained. We have supply issues on silicon chips. We only get a few amount of them. What we try to really do is get energy efficiency. That allows us to get really low cost on mining. And if we get low cost of power by allowing ourselves to be next to the power production, then we get really low cost of Bitcoin. One of the things I like about Bitcoin mining as well is that we don't need to be on 24/7. What that means is a Facebook data center, a Amazon cloud data center, you're going to be pretty mad if, or maybe not, if Facebook's offline for any amount of time. What that means is that you want to have 100% uptime on your power. Bitcoin mining, every second this is offline, we're not making Bitcoin, yes, but the way that power works is if you are able to give up maybe 1% a year of power when there's a snowstorm or an emergency or blackout, you are able to get close to 20 to 30% reduction in your power bill just by offering that curtailment. So Bitcoin mining is a very flexible way to use power, and that's why I think that we can get some of the cheapest power in the nation. So energy efficient miners, cheap, reliable power equals low cost Bitcoin. 1 Bitcoin right now, to mine 1 Bitcoin takes $10,000. Who wouldn't want to buy Bitcoin right now for $10,000? That's what Bitcoin mining does for you. And of course, if you get lower cost of power, or if it gets higher cost of power, it'll vary. So in summary, Bitcoin mining, I really love it because, first of all, get 100% bonus depreciation year 1, get great cash flow. Today's price, we're probably looking around 5% a month. Last year, we were doing like 10% a month. And that's a month, not a year. You also have the lowest cost to acquire Bitcoin. And to leverage production of Bitcoin. If you think about it, what leverage means for us is our cost is $10,000 every month. Doesn't matter how much Bitcoin price is. Could be at $30,000, could be at $50,000, could be at $100,000. So the higher Bitcoin price goes up, our profit margins goes up, our returns go up by magnitude order higher. And I'm not a trader. If I tried to trade, I would probably mistime the market. You should probably track my trading and just do the opposite of it. But what I like about this is it's an investment. I'm dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin. If I invest in Bitcoin mining, I'm going to be making Bitcoin, whether it's at $30,000, at $60,000, at $100,000, at $200,000, at $500,000. And these are all numbers that I do believe will get there. And as somebody who's had Bitcoin since $20 and probably spent a lot more of it than I should have, don't really want to remember all that. Yeah, I fundamentally believe that Bitcoin has a long way to go. We're early. A lot of institutional capital has just started to flow in the last year, and a lot of institutional capital is flowing into Bitcoin mining specifically. And I think there's a lot of great momentum in this space. So if you're interested in mining and you want to chat, feel free to reach out to us. If you're interested in this miner, I'll help you set it up. This is very heavy. I didn't want to carry it back home. That's why I'm giving it away. And if you're invested in mining, I'm also really interested in potentially if you have a data center or power or some land with power, we maybe work in a partnership together. These are all things that I think we can do in Bitcoin mining. So I appreciate everyone's time. Thank you.